Across the cold seas, Ragnar's fleet surged forward, their eyes fixed on the rich Anglo-Saxon coast.
The Anglo-Saxon coast awaited, unaware of the storm about to descend upon them.
Ragnar raised his axe high, a silent signal for blood and fire. The Anglo-Saxon village stood in peace, unaware of the shadow rising over the horizon.
But soon, peace would turn to ash and blood.
The dragon-proud longships cut into the shallows, their keels grinding against the sand.
The first wave of Norse warriors stormed the coast, their cries striking fear into the land. The village bell tolled as panic swept through the Anglo-Saxon settlement.
Ragnar's warriors smashed into the village like a storm of iron and fire.
Blood soaked the earth as Ragnar carved his name into Anglo-Saxon soil. The Norse set fire to thatched roofs, smoke rising like a dark omen over the land.
Those who could not flee were bound in chains, claimed as slaves for the North.
Bjorn, blooded yet unbroken, pressed deeper, his axe clearing the path.
Freya, shield raised, stood firm as arrows rained from above.
Ragnar's fury was unmatched, as he drove the Saxon defenders into despair.
The Saxon line began to falter, their courage broken beneath Ragnar's fury.
Freya's spear flashed as she struck down foes, her shield unbroken in the storm.
Bjorn carved a bloody path, his axe striking fear into every heart.
The Saxons broke and fled, leaving their dead behind as the Norse claimed victory. The Norse roared in triumph, planting their banner in the heart of the Saxon village.
Those who resisted met the axe, their blood soaking the earth.
Ragnar's fury burned brighter than the flames, a warning to all who opposed him. The village lay broken, its people enslaved, its walls turned to ash.
The spoils of war were gathered, silver, grain, and weapons piled high beneath the raven banner. The warriors feasted in victory, their laughter rising above the cries of the enslaved. Yet even in triumph, Ragnar's gaze was fixed beyond, toward greater wars to come.
The Anglo-Saxon coast lay broken, and the name of Ragnar echoed across the north.
With the village broken, the Norse turned ruin into a fortress.
Captives were herded like cattle, guarded under the watch of steel. The spoils of conquest were divided, each man claiming his share of silver and blood.
Amid victory, the seer whispered of greater battles yet to come.
Ragnar listened in silence, his thoughts drifting to lands yet unconquered.
As night fell, the Norse rested amid the ashes of conquest. As night fell, the Norse rested amid the ashes of conquest. Captives huddled in fear, watched by steel and fire. Captives huddled in fear, watched by steel and fire. Ragnar's war council gathered, plotting the next strike. Ragnar's war council gathered, plotting the next strike. The warriors sharpened steel and spirit, eager for battles yet unborn. The warriors sharpened steel and spirit, eager for battles yet unborn.
By dawn, their sails would rise again, and new lands would tremble at their coming.
The first light of dawn broke over the blackened ruins, casting long shadows of conquest.
The captives were driven to the shore, bound in chains beneath the raven banner.
The spoils of war were hauled aboard, the wealth of Saxon soil now Viking prize.
The Norse raised their sails once more, the wind carrying their victory across the sea.
Behind them, smoke marked their wrath. Ahead, new horizons promised greater glory.
The sea carried them homeward, their ships heavy with spoils and slaves.
We sing of blood and glory.
But among the chained, sorrow drowned every sound of triumph.
Freya's eyes hardened, torn between triumph and the cries of the conquered.
Ragnar stood above them all, a chieftain carved in fire and steel.
As the fleet pressed north, icy winds began to rise, whispering of trials yet to come.
Snow began to fall, cloaking victory in the silence of winter's wrath. The sea raged, waves rising like mountains to swallow the dragon ships whole. Through the storm, Ragnar's voice was silent, but his will unshaken. The fleet endured, forged by fire and storm, unbroken by the wrath of gods or sea.
At last, the storm began to fade, leaving broken sails and weary souls behind.
The fleet sailed onward, scarred but unbroken, carrying the weight of conquest. Among the chained, despair lingered, their cries swallowed by the endless sea.
Yet among the warriors, pride burned hotter than flame or storm.
Ragnar's shadow stretched long upon the waves, his saga only beginning.
Beyond the horizon, the cliffs of the north rose, home calling the warriors back.
The raven banner led them, carried proudly against the northern wind.
Word of their return spread swiftly, the village gathering to witness the victors.
The longships slid onto familiar sands, their hulls scarred yet proud.
Cheers erupted, for Ragnar had returned not as a man, but as a legend.
The village erupted in feasting, firelight dancing on faces of triumph and relief.
Freya raised her horn high, her voice cutting through the roar of celebration.
Bjorn boasted of battles, his laughter shaking the hall.
Yet when Ragnar rose, silence fell, for all knew whose voice carried the weight of destiny.
He spoke not in words, but in triumph, his presence alone binding them all.
When the hall grew quiet again, Ragnar's eyes burned with visions beyond the horizon.
He gathered his warriors close, the map of foreign coasts spread before them.
The warriors swore blood oaths, pledging steel to Ragnar's cause. The seer's voice carried through the hall,
warning of fate entwined with fire and steel. But Ragnar did not waver. His destiny lay carved in blood and glory.